Okie dokie. Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. Hope you're doing very well on this fine Thursday morning or whatever day and time it is right now as you're watching this video. Welcome to episode number 70. Wow, there's a lot of episodes made of this series. Episode number 70 of Azren's Journal. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, this is the segment on my YouTube channel where I share my personal language learning journey and, of course, give you guys a whole bunch of language learning tips. And I want to kick things off today with our main topic, which is the title of the video, low-cost ways to learn a new language. And then I just want to give some personal life updates during the tail end of this video, kind of in the second half. I realize I haven't really shared a bunch of personal updates recently, and there are quite a few things that are new. But we'll start with the main topic of the video first, so we can get that out of the way. And that's probably why most of you are here anyway. So low-cost ways to learn a language. So I think when you're learning a language, people are often thinking about how to keep the cost down. How do you keep the price down? How do you learn a new language but not pay a fortune? Now, the first thing to understand in my perspective, in my experience, is that if you can spend a certain amount of money, right? If you can spend money, if you can save something, right? It's going to expedite the process of learning a new language. If you're gonna spend $0 and that's what you're saying, I want to spend $0 to learn a new language, you can. Of course you can. Absolutely you can. Plenty of people have done it. But it becomes way more difficult. And so even if you can have a little bit of money and you're looking for low-cost options instead of no-cost options, that's going to be better. In other words, and I'll repeat that again, because I think it's an important distinction. An important distinction is you want to look for the lowest cost, right? You want to look at minimizing your costs. But if you're trying to keep it at zero cost, that's probably going to be a little bit harder for you to learn a new language based on my experience. I'll give you a great example. I was talking to someone recently, very, very recently, I was talking to someone and they were like, man, I'd like to learn Spanish. I want to watch some more shows. I want to watch some more movies, and that's what I'd like to do. And I was like, well, do you have Netflix? And she's like, no, I can't really spend money on my language learning. And there's a variety of reasons for it, and this, that, the other thing. And it was a lot of limitations. I was like, okay, Netflix. Nope, can't use it. I was like, okay, there's this program. It's like $20. Nope, can't do it. And I was like, ugh, like, damn, right? So be prepared to spend a little bit. It's going to help you. Now, aside from that, I want to give a couple very tangible pieces of advice. The first one is you would be shocked at how many free conversation groups and classes that you can find online. There are lots. This is very recently someone's put me onto this, and someone has kind of made me realize just how many different free classes, like live classes, you can find online. The way to find them that I've recently learned is you need to go into Google, first of all, and you have to search in Google. Let's say we're learning Spanish, right? Spanish conversation group, and insert a city. Insert a city. So for example, Spanish conversation group, Calgary. Spanish conversation group, Edmonton. Spanish conversation, online, excuse me, online is best. Online. Spanish conversation group online, New York. Spanish conversation group online, Los Angeles. Spanish conversation group online, London, England. Spanish conversation group online, Paris. Go city by city, and you're going to find stuff on Google. And because it's online, anyone can join. I've been learning this recently because now we offer, right? I'm offering a lot of free stuff online, a lot of free classes online, which before we didn't have that. We did them all in person. But because of the coronavirus, we've moved stuff online. And there's people who attend, and I'm like, oh, where'd you come across this? They're like, oh, well, I'm learning Mandarin, I'm learning this, and I always Google online to see what kind of classes I can find, and I'll just look around in different cities. And I'm like, oh, and there's multiple people who've told me this. So one of our paying students right now is that way. She does something in Washington, D.C., She does stuff here in Calgary. She does an online thing with some other library. I forget what city. Some library in some city offers some online Spanish conversation group. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So if you just search city by city for whatever language you're learning, right? You're going to find stuff for free or for very low cost. And it doesn't have to be Spanish conversation group. You could find English pronunciation practice. You could look for French grammar practice. You could find and you might have to spend hours looking, but you'll find stuff. You'll be shocked what you find when you look on Google and YouTube. And that brings me to point number 2. When you want to keep your costs low to learn another language, understand that it's going to take more time and effort. When you can spend money, it can just speed things up a little bit. Like if for example, let's say I have $20,000. Let's pretend I have $20,000 sitting here. Boom. Okay. And I'm like, all right. And let's say I have, let's say I'm not working. I have $20,000, boom, in cash, and I'm not working. Well, it's going to be super easy for me to learn a language. It's going to be a lot faster. Why? I can pay for private teachers. I can pay to travel. I can pay to take group classes. I can pay for a yoga class in Spanish. I can pay for stuff, right? And I can just pay for whatever. But if you don't have the luxury of having a completely open schedule and lots of money, right? If you don't have that luxury, you can't just pay. And you might have to, it's funny that Tessa just hopped in here. You might have to offer a trade, right? So Tessa and I, we've actually got a bit of a trade. We've done a bit of a trade for some French lessons, right? She's going to pay $0. I'm going to receive $0, but Tessa and her husband helped me with something actually that I really needed help with. And they've saved me a lot of time on something because they have an expertise that I don't have. And we traded services, right? So that's being creative. You might have to, you might have to Google a little bit more to find the right resources, because you can't just pay for whatever the first resource you see is. You might have to, find a program and wait for them to have a sale before you buy that service or that program, right? You might need to enter in contests, right? A lot of Instagrammers and people, they often have these giveaways and things like that. You might have to enter those giveaways and cross your fingers and hope, right? You might have to do things like that. You might just have to. So I think that's another thing you have to understand. It takes time. And I want you to use Google as a resource. Use Google. Use Google. Use Google. People, you need to spend 10 hours Googling things. Different search queries, you search it on YouTube as well. Google is a huge resource that everybody, myself included, underutilizes. Okay. Another tip I'll give you, this one I got to show you on my phone. I wish there's a screen sharing function on this, but there just isn't. This one I'll show you on my phone here. Here we go. This is going to be a really useful resource for you guys. For many of you. I've said it before on these videos, but now it's a little bit more streamlined. Okay, so this is my website. This is my website here. So you're going to see various different links, right? Guided self-study programs, private classes, hire me to speak, about me, all sorts of stuff on my website, okay? But look at the first link. Free drop-in classes and other resources. Click that, okay? On my website, when you scroll, you're going to see our listing of free classes. We have a lot. We have something 7 days a week for different languages, right? How to teach a language, weekly class. By the way, these will come onto YouTube as well. So I'll keep you updated on that. I'll have more information to share later, right? Spanish, right? Drop-in class, right? We have what's that one? Gentle yoga class in Spanish. We have a workshop for, what does that say? Workshop for the past tense, right? There's this, what does this one say? Pronunciation workshop. That's today, right? That's today here as I'm recording this. French, we have a couple different things for French. German, we have a drop-in class, right? English, we have a drop-in class. Mandarin, we have a couple of drop-in classes, right? Gujarati, we have a drop-in. We have lots, right? There's a lot of different resources, right? That's different, but a lot of different free things on my website that can really help you make a lot of progress in the languages you're learning. So that's a big thing as well. The other thing I would say is it's a creative solution that I haven't talked about before, but I'm talking about it now because I'm doing it more recently, and I've been testing it, and it's working really well. It's a low cost alternative to classes. So classes often might, classes, let's say private classes in my city. Let's talk about my city. Private classes in my city will cost anywhere between, $20 to $25 an hour would be quite cheap, quite affordable in my city for private classes, especially if there's someone with any level, some level of qualification, 20, 25 bucks an hour. But really, if there's someone that's kind of got qualifications and experience, you're going to pay 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You're going to pay that per hour. That's quite a bit. Group classes might cost you, one group class might cost you $500, $400, $600. That might cost you that. It's quite a bit of money. So an alternative that I've been actually doing recently, it's a new service I now offer with people, and it's working really well, is where you do a guided self-study. So if you don't know someone who does this, you can just find a teacher and run this option by them, and they might say yes, because they'll make good money on it with less work, and it's going to be cheaper for you anyway, and you'll learn at a good pace. You have 2 lessons per month, okay? 2 classes per month only. Each class is 30 to 40 minutes. So they're quite short, the classes. But in between the classes, you are given lots of homework to do. You're given videos to watch, writing assignments to do, speaking assignments into your phone to do. You're given assignments and things to do to progress. And before the next 2-week call. So in between the 2-week calls, right, you're doing a lot of self-study. And then you talk to the teacher every 2 weeks. And then the teacher can still answer your questions. The teacher can still do some conversation practice with you. You can do some listening practice. You can get guidance for the next 2 weeks, right? And that's a way cheaper alternative, because now all of a sudden you're taking 1 hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour, because maybe some classes go a little long, but roughly an hour, hour and a bit of class per month, right? That's going to cost you, whatever it is, like if it's in my city, 25, 30, 40, 50 bucks a month, right? Which is very, very affordable for most people in my city. That's quite affordable in comparison to other options. And you're still going to progress, because you're going to get all this homework. You'll still have the support from the teacher. You still have lots of work to do. You're still progressing. You're still practicing between the sessions. You're getting the guidance you need, right? And so that's a great alternative. It's a fantastic alternative. I'm loving it, actually. I'm pushing it like crazy within my students and like people that are taking classes with me and the Calgary language nerds, and people learning German and French and Spanish and English and Gujarati, people Mandarin learning through us right now. I push it a lot with our students. I keep telling them, like, yeah, we should look at this. For some people, it makes sense. Because all of a sudden, like I'll share my pricing behind it. Like my pricing behind it when we have it. Private classes, you're probably paying. I really push it for private class people often, because the price difference is quite significant, and often the learning can be similar depending on the student. Like a private classes with us might cost you, if you're taking 1 class a week, let's say, anywhere between 150, 150 bucks a month, all the way up to, like $300-400 a month, something like that, depending on number of classes, things like that. If it's just conversation lessons and it's private, it's a little bit cheaper, but still you're paying like 120 bucks a month, right? Group classes are quite affordable. That's a little bit different, but even group classes, you might pay like, what would you pay for group class? Like, you might pay 150 bucks in a month or something of that effect, 150 bucks, maybe a little bit cheaper depending, but 100 bucks, right? So 150, right? So for once a week, right? So all of a sudden you have that. And now for this kind of guided self-study, it costs like, anywhere between 50 to 90 bucks a month, 50 to 80 bucks a month, right? And that's cheaper, and that makes a difference for a lot of people. So that's another thing. If you're trying to save some money and you really want that teacher and you want someone to work with, start approaching teachers and offer this. Be like, hey, can I talk to you every 2 weeks for 30 minutes? You give me homework between all the sessions, and I pay you $50 a month. They might say yes, because they're like 60 bucks a month, because they're like, twice a month, half an hour, just on Skype or something, give them some homework. Sure, right? And they might say yes to that. I think a lot of people will say yes to that, and you'll save some money on that too. So that's a great alternative to save some money. And yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. I think another one, this is a bit of an unorthodox answer, but I'll give it because I think it'll help some of you. This one probably will help one or two people because it takes a specific skill set and DNA trait to kind of go about doing it. But even if it helps one or two of you, I think it's a good, something you have to think about. Like, how do you earn more money? If money is the obstacle, how can you go about earning a little bit more money? Because you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot, right? You might only need an extra $50 a month. An extra $50 goes a long way to go learn a language. $50, oh my God. I remember I made a podcast once talking about just how far $50 goes when you're learning a language. Oh my God, that can take you so far, $50 a month. So how can you earn $50 a month? What can you do to earn that? I'll give you some options. There's something called Amazon Mechanical Turk, I believe it is. Let me Google it right now to make sure. Amazon Mechanical Turk. Yes, Amazon Mechanical Turk. So Amazon Mechanical Turk, I'm going to read their website. It's a crowdsourcing marketplace that makes it easier for individuals and businesses to outsource their processes and jobs to a distributed workforce who can perform these tasks virtually. This can include anything from conducting simple data validation and research to more subjective tasks like survey participation, content moderation, and more. MTurk enables companies to harness the collective intelligence, skills, and insights from a global workforce to streamline business processes, augment data collection and analysis, and accelerate machine learning development. And anyway, and it goes on and on and on. So there's like little random tasks you can do it where you're paid $3, $2, $5. And so all of a sudden, you might be making, I don't know, $7 an hour. I've never used it, so I don't know. I'm assuming they're not, from what I've seen anyway, from afar, they're not like, you're not going to go make $100 an hour or $20 an hour, but you might make, you might go make $8 an hour, right? And if you have an extra hour a day, $8 for that hour, an hour a day in a month, what is that? So 30 hours times 8, that's $240 in the month. That's a whole language class right there. Who are we kidding? That's a whole course you could pay for. You could pay for a class. You could pay for all sorts of stuff. A program, a study at home, a textbook. Wow, 2 textbooks. Like that's amazing, right? Amazon Mechanical Turk. Turk is spelled Turk. Okay. Here's another one. Every country has a classifieds website. Craigslist, Kijiji in Canada, Taobao in China, or Taobao, yeah, or so many. Good Lord, there's Let Go is an application. There's so many different ones. You have to Google it to see what you have in your country. Many of you have stuff in your house that you don't care about that you can sell. That you literally go. My mom's been doing it actually for the past couple of years. She'll be like, "Why are we keeping that book?" She'll like see a book. It's like, "Why are we keeping that book? Why am I keeping this shelf? Why do we have that?" And she'll put it online for like $5, $10, $20, and people buy it. People come pick it up. We sold a carpet. We sold we sold a lot of books. We sold right now, I think my mom, we got some masks for coronavirus, and but they're kind of like weird, and like we bought them, and they're kind of like they're a bit like different. They're a bit awkward to put on. They're a different style than what we thought they were. So I'm just gonna put those online and just kind of maybe just sell them and trying to get someone else to get them, or like all sorts of stuff. You have stuff in your house that you don't need. Some of you more than others. Clothes, literally when you literally search online, people are selling anything. Like you can sell it and get some money for it. That's a great one. Another great way is look at your costs, look at your spending. Everybody spends dumb money. All of us spend, myself included, we all spend money on dumb stuff that we didn't even really want or need. We're like, why did I buy that? Right? Cut some of that dumb spending. That's a great idea. The other way as well, this is a tough one, but it's going to be relevant for some of you. Do you know how many people work at a job but haven't asked for a raise? Like, not everybody. This doesn't apply to everybody. You know, doesn't apply to everybody. But like, I know people this way. I know people that work at a job for a long time, 3 years, 4 years, and they've gotten more responsibility. They're doing more work, but they haven't asked for a raise. They haven't asked for a raise at all. Some of you need to go ask for a raise. Some of you, not everybody. Many of you probably know, but some of you, yeah, like think about that. Like maybe you need to ask for a raise. Side gigs are a big one. Again, not for everyone. I'm trying to give different options for earning more money because different things will hit for different people. Side gigs are a big one. Side gigs. So, you know, you might have a skill, like, you know, you might have a skill that you have and you can teach that skill online. A friend of mine I was talking to a friend of mine and he's like kind of sitting at home and he's really knowledgeable about, actually way better example. I have a friend who's quite good at dance. I forget what dance it is. There's one dance she really likes and she's really good at. And she's always wanted to do something with dance, like some kind of project or side gig or job, or it's always wanted to. And I was like, literally go to eventbrite.com, right? EVENTBRITE, eventbrite.com. It's free. Make an event, make it free, but have the option for people to donate. Some people will donate. How do I know? I do it. All our free classes, they're free. There's an option to donate. And guess what? Some people donate. In fact, not everybody, not the majority, the minority, but some people donate. And that can be an extra $50, right there for you. You can even charge a little bit. Nothing wrong with charging, right? Nothing wrong for charging for your services. I just know some people feel weird charging for services. So a donation route, I might be more likely to get you to do that. So that's a great option. Earn some extra money doing that. So all of a sudden, you're not stuck to that low cost alternative, right? Trading service is a great idea. Like there's a lot. I mean, I could talk forever on this. I could literally talk forever on, by the way, I got a haircut. It's not really done well. I got to do my hair, but got a haircut finally. So yeah, there's a lot of different, there's a lot of different options there. I think we've exhausted this topic for now. I've talked long enough about it. So I hope this was helpful for you. I really hope so. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. And yeah, we'll talk later. Bye for now. See you.